Live from the Asbury Park Music Foundation and presented by Mogo, it's One More with Brian Erickson.
Did somebody just start like a low-key USA?
I know. I think it was Chris is the best co-host. That was the
wow.
Welcome to One More.
Go ahead, Chris. You got this one.
You didn't. I guess you messed up last week.
Welcome to One More. I'm Brian Erickson. Each week we bring in 2 new guests. We sit them down. God, I hate you. and we ask them why they do what they do. This week is no exception. We have our first return guest ever, Matt Cook, and we welcome in. Yes, applause for Matt, and we welcome in Telegraph Hill Records recording artist Leah Voysey. But first, and as always, Chris Dubrow and Jesse McCormick. What's going on, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Thank you.
Wow, that's a lot of that's a lot of cute. I feel like this is like one of those sitcoms.
I feel like it felt more like one of those
filmed by a live studio audience.
Filmed in front of a live studio, Fern. Can we do that actually? No, we can't bring on Fern because we're gonna have technical issues whenever we bring him on. How are you doing,
He
Brian?
is gonna be on camera. I'm good.
Is he gonna be on camera tonight?
Well, yeah,
I thought we were gonna green screen him and edit him out.
He's going to be a hologram.
It's gonna be a floating acoustic guitar.
The beard with a skull cap. Yeah.
But we don't Photoshop out the beard.
Beard. No, of course.
Matt, do we have technology?
Well, the beard is on brand.
Yeah.
You have to, and that's all what we're all about, right? With swell bottles and tacos and woodwork by Drew Novelli.
Are you just pointing out things in front of you? Because I can do that too. Microphone, table, Jesse.
Table by Jim Lenscold.
Oh yeah, Jim. Thank you so much for a table. Jim drove the Burns home from the city the other night. I do not have the words to express how grateful I am to him that I did not have to take.
How late did that occur?
Not late, like 10. It was not bad at all. Yeah, we left early, but oh man, I was so happy I didn't take New Jersey Transit back and get really drunk on the train and then get picked up by an Uber, super drunk. I just waited a few hours to get picked up drunk by an Uber. I really appreciate that, Jim. Anyway, how was your weekend? You hung out with Adam Bird.
I did. Wow, yeah, I hung out with Adam Bird.
Always a pleasure.
And
what was he angry about?
He wasn't actually. He started talking about how how he's trying to become more accepting with his lot in life.
Sell out.
Yeah, I know. I was kind of expecting hooded, grumpy, slouchy Adam Bird, and even though we had a lovely dinner and we saw a movie together, I was kind of disappointed.
You're not going to call him back for a second date?
Oh no, we're doing it again next week.
Oh, you really? That's exciting. I'm happy for your blossoming relationship with Adam Bird.
It's great. I love Adam.
Jesse, how was your weekend? Let's go around the table. How was everyone's weekend?
My weekend was pretty good.
A bit.
Yeah, I did a lot of planning. I feel like the last 48 hours has been kind of nonstop planning for a benefit that I'm holding tomorrow. But we will get to that.
Oh, hey, we'll get that. But before we get to that, which camera? Here it is. One more Brian Erickson, sponsored by Mogo. Brian, do you hear that? It's a rumbling in my stomach that can only be satisfied by the savory goodness of Mogo Korean fusion tacos. Somebody get me some Mogo, or I'll burn this entire building to the ground and bury the ashes. We got to rewrite that. Featuring fresh-made, homemade ingredients, family recipes, and a variety of menu options, Mogo is bringing traditional Korean flavors to the masses. For the past 3 years, Mogo has been a leading sponsor of the Asbury Park Live, a free weekly summer concert series run in conjunction with the Asbury Park Music Foundation. Hey, Jim. This event series not only showcases emerging and established Asbury Park acts, but also raises money for youth music education, including the launch of a new Latin music summer camp last year. It's a wonderful camp. I'm enrolling again this summer. We really got to do new ad copy. So visit either of their 2 locations, Cookman Avenue or the Asbury Park Boardwalk, for casual sit-down dining or takeout. The prices are always fair, and the food is always fantastic. Mogo Korean fusion tacos. I once fed some to a baby. Brian, let's talk. No, we're not. This is. What the fuck? Can we go black for 1 second? Melanie comes back, Brian's crying. Jesus. You broke Jesse! You broke me! You just turned into like Jerry. You turned into George Costanza for a second there.
Well, Jerry turned into Jason Alexander trying to be George Costanza. Oh, when I said you okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
He's a singer-songwriter who just released a music video for his song Last. Let us welcome back Matt Cook.
Yeah.
Good to see you, brother.
Yeah, what's up, Chris?
I like that you took the roundabout way.
I didn't really rehearse that.
Yeah, no, this is the only thing we haven't rehearsed. Are you gonna? We're good.
There we go.
Yeah, we got a lot of wires up tonight.
Yeah.
All right. Hello, everybody.
Nice to see you.
This is a little different than last time. Like we have a crowded studio, and you're like you're surrounded.
It's a lot less red too. I noticed that.
It is, and
that obnoxious red backdrop we had last time.
And the pants are less red. Everything's less red.
Yeah, producer Matt is upset because apparently he painted that.
I missed my flirt alert.
What was that called?
Flirt alert.
Flirt alert was the color. Was that the color?
Yeah.
The shade.
That was the name of the shade.
That's what he calls it whenever he gets a notification from Tinder.
So Matt.
Like I get notifications from Tinder.
Yeah.
Wow,
Bobs need some love.
Everybody's got bits today.
We're bits on bits, baby. We're here to talk about bits. We're here to talk about cooks.
Talking about
specifically Matt Cook.
So welcome back. You have the distinction of being our first repeat guest at the table here. We had Ronette come back just as a musical guest, but
and Adam Bird dropped in to explain that he didn't like hip hop and then immediately left.
Yeah.
I just found that out 5 minutes ago, so that's pretty cool. It's cool.
When we were introing you, but when we last were here, you were talking about a full-length album you put out, Girasol, which I guess around this time last year had kind of just come out, sort of, more or less.
It came out at the very end of 2017.
But you didn't release it until, you didn't have the release show until February.
Right.
So
exactly. So that's coming up on.
So really, does the album even really come out until you have the release show? Is the question.
See, I had the foresight to put it out first because my biggest pet peeve when I go to release shows is that I don't know any of these songs, so I wanted to give everybody an opportunity to listen to the album first.
That's not. Wow,
actually
there were like a few oohs in the
We're actually
that's actually like a pretty good take.
Yo, this studio audience is like so gracious right now.
I came up with that idea by myself.
When you guys hear something shocking later, I can't wait.
This is, I mean, that's actually not a bad idea. So before we start, I mean, obviously we're here to talk about the new song, the video, and we're gonna hear some stuff in a little bit. But how's the album been doing?
Oh, it's been doing really.
Because it's been a year. So how's it been going?
It's been a blast, like playing all these songs live. Like obviously, Brian plays with me a lot too. Pete Stern, you guys in the extensions now. You guys play shows with me, so you know all my songs. Brian Hansen Band plays with me a lot. They know my songs, and Gwen Alden, Tom Bryant, they know my songs. So it's been cool playing all these with different friend musicians that I have.
Yeah, and speaking of those friend musicians, obviously we talked about you just mentioned the Brian Hansen Band and Gwen and Tom. I know you said in a different interview last year that you're not trying to be cool, but you do realize that it is kind of like the cool thing to be a part of like a number of different projects now, right? Like that's like the Chris is in like 6 bands. We're going to see Fern. He's Fern's playing with Leah. He's in every band. So Jesse, you guest on like everybody's records.
Yeah.
So it's you realize that you actually might be cool, right? Like that might actually be.
How does it feel to
if
be
you say
cool?
so,
How does it feel to be cool?
Well, no, it's like start 2 different side projects, like +3.
Yeah, we got to really do this. We got to make the Asbury Park.
We're gonna do this.
Is that
Asbury
the cool
Park
thing to do?
Monopoly.
That's a cool.
Just being a bunch of
Yeah,
bands.
the
Nothing's
scene
cooler
playing
than
here
board games.
as-
Let me tell you.
But how has I want to talk about the Brian Hansen Band first because they have sort of joined you and you have also joined them. Like they play behind you, then you also play in that band. And how like they're notoriously good musicians. How have they pushed you forward as a musician? Because you're an excellent musician in your own right, but you get all those people together. I feel like you gotta challenge each other a bit, right?
Yeah, I think we both just really, we both really just like each other as people. even though we refer to each other as like derogatory names, but we do that of terms of endearment.
Yeah.
But I think we both really get excited about each other's songs and each other's music, so we try to really up our game. When I take Brian Hansen band gigs just as seriously as my own, so I make sure I'm always prepared to do whatever we got to do.
How did you become welcomed into the ranks of that band? Because they seemed so like they sort of all move as just this real tight knit group. So how did you come to sort of be involved? As I guess is it is he a permanent member? Yeah. Like kind of.
Brian broke
Brian's off camera being like, no. I didn't know.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Whispering to Dwayne, I'm like, I can't wait to hear what he's going to say.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to see Brian Hansen in a little bit too during the music portion.
You can't miss him. He's 6'7".
I forget what the question was now.
Just make it up. We're making these up as we go. I'm actually not. I'm looking at Leah's questions right now.
Okay.
Really? No, I'm not.
Okay.
Hey, Leah, how do you come to be involved in Brian Hansen's band? No, but it was like how did you? Because you guys have been playing sort of side by side for a while, but I guess what happened, what transpired to make them be like, you know what, Matt, why don't you come play with us? Kind of full time.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of just evolved organically, I think. But we didn't really have like a sit-down conversation, except for one conversation I had with Will Blakey, the bass player, where we basically, it was after your Extension's debut show at the Wonder Bar, actually. That
was an interesting show.
We were hanging out with each other, and we decided that night that we were just going to join forces. So, friends helping each other out. So,
I'm first up, you're welcome.
You remember where you got started, man?
Kid. Yeah.
Can't wait for Brian to become bitter and jaded. Watching it happen live on camera.
Oh God, too late. Totally bitter.
Have you heard that last album?
Oh yeah, that's
bit,
all. Yeah, thank you.
We're not here to talk about you guys.
No,
we're here to talk about Matt Cook.
But that's cool. I didn't realize it happened so long ago, because that was like last March maybe or something.
I think it was around June. So you're wrong on that.
Okay. I've been known to be wrong on quite a lot of things.
You were looking at Leah's questions, so
I was not that time. So I want to talk about, because this is relevant to the single. You also started a sort of project, you call it ABC, Gwen Alden, Tom Bryant, Matt Cook.
Yeah, I got credited as a real genius for coming up with that name, which is basically just the initials of our last names put together. But
yes. Even though there was that 80s new wave band, ABC.
Oh, was there? I didn't even know about that, see?
Lawsuit is pending.
Yeah.
Sorry. Gwen's mom always gives me credit for coming up with these like great creative ideas. She's like, "Oh, Matt, you're just so creative."
Yeah.
I'm like, it's 3 letters.
Well, no, but I mean, when you and Brian play out together, just the two of you, you call yourselves Handsome Looks.
Yeah,
right?
There's a story there too,
Yeah, tell us the story. That's why we're here. We're here for your stories.
Well, I just started loosely calling it, because he is such a handsome guy, so I just started loosely calling him Brian Hansen. And we talk to each other like minimum 3 times a day. So when I'm in my car and
that's one less time than I talk to my mom.
Yeah, look at that. We're closer than you are with your mom.
With my mother, yeah. Love you, Joyce.
So I would tell my car, dial Brian Hansen, and it hears it as Brian Hansen, so I just started calling him Brian Hansen. And then we were playing a show, and actually our friend Dwayne of Levy and the Oaks here.
You mean Levy
of Levy and the Oaks. Sorry.
We're gonna bleep out his non-stage name.
It's blasphemous here in Asbury Park. I told you I'm not cool.
It's the name of not Levy.
I'm not cool. I'm just Matt. But so Levy told
when I
us.
text some people about like Matt Cook, it does autocorrect to Matt Cool. Yeah. It totally does. So I'm sorry.
Actually, when I was in high school, they printed out my ID card as Matthew Cool one year.
Did they really?
My junior year of high school.
I would have ran with that the entire year. Yeah. It's like 80s like high school movie. Like,
and you got like the sandy blonde streaks too. Like you got
I would only
like,
wear
total,
sunglasses.
like, yeah.
Like
with sunglasses with like the pink.
Brian's making me feel so cool.
Look, he inflates your ego. He breaks down my ego. He knows
It's all about its grace and humility. That's what it is.
I know neither of those people. They don't sound interesting to me.
But anyway, the handsome looks story, just to wrap that up. So,
yes.
So Levy told us at a show, he's like, well, if he's Brian Handsome, you have to be Matthew Looks. So we kind of just ended up rolling with that. And we have an important show coming up, actually, for my friend Lissy, who's also a type 1 diabetic like me,
like you,
that we had talked about last time on the show. So she's celebrating her 5 years of being a diabetic, and she's throwing a big diabetic fundraiser party on the 16th of February.
Whereabouts?
That'll be at Red Tank Brewing.
Okay.
In Red Bank, New Jersey.
Oh,
and
Red Tank and Red Bank.
I saw a promo video that came out for this, and everybody else has their real names on there, and we were suddenly Handsome Looks. So, just now we got to own it.
Yeah, you better. Now you got to make an Instagram. You got to do the whole thing.
That's the cool thing to do, right?
So you guys dress in like 80s, like
and you have to, and you know what it is though. You do like a post a month, and all you do is just Instagram stories and going live.
Well, we really wanted to like play into it like it's like a wrestling gimmick of just like, Brian, hand me my mirror, please, stuff like that.
Oh, so you're like Mr. Perfect.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it, and he's
the perfect wrestling heel gimmick.
Yeah, that's perfect. So let's talk about Gwen and Tom and ABC. Let's kind of pivot back to that because that's actually why you're here. Tell us about this new song, Last.
Yeah, so I really dug down deep to try to write a really good love song, because I feel like that's something that's kind of lacked in my recordings, going all the way back to probably my first record. And I almost felt like a younger version of myself writing this, because there's a certain amount of hope and optimism that I tried to capture in the song. And really just wanted to make like a really pretty sounding recording. And when we sing together, our harmonies, we always get complimented on, because we have a lot of shared musical interests. We do a lot of Beach Boys songs and things like that.
Yeah, the three of you together are like perfect.
Yeah, Tom's known as like a really great guitar player, but he's a very underrated singer too.
Yeah.
He has a very good voice, and Gwen, of course, has a great voice too.
Yeah.
So I asked them to be on the track with me, and they knocked it out. I arranged it, but they just came into the studio and just did everything that I asked them to. So
yeah. And what kind of influence does now working consistently with others on the creative side of things have on your songwriting? Because, you always had bands and backing musicians and stuff, but now it seems like you're letting people a little bit deeper into the beginning parts of the process. And how has that changed the way you've been writing? Because in my opinion, this is your best song.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
And you got 4 records.
You texted me that, and I really, Brian gets so excited about music that it's like, and I know he's genuine all the time, so it really means a lot to me when you say things like that, so thank you.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, what is that now doing for you, like letting people into the kind of front end of your creativity? How's that changing what you're doing?
Well, I think I'm at a different place in my life, obviously, than when I started writing songs. Going back to, my first record came out when I was 19 years old. So
yeah, 2005.
I wrote a lot of those songs when I was, going back to even like 16 years old.
Yeah.
So a much different songwriter at 33 years old. Mm-hmm. But I looked at this song. This song is more than a song to me. There's some that are like that are special. You guys know songwriters too. So that one like kind of hit me from in a deeper place. And I felt like it was something that was beyond a song. It was more like my life. So sharing it with 2 close friend musicians like Gwen and Tom, who also share and know the whole, what's going on in my life.
Yeah.
That it kind of adds to the whole, the intangibles of music that you just can't explain. So.
Well, that's great. And now between this new single Last, and you also released a single last year called Use Your Words, which is also very good. Are we to expect another record a little sooner than we might think? Are you working on something, or are you just kind of doing singles?
Yeah, I'm still figuring that out. I've always been a record full length kind of guy, so I think what I'm working on now is going to turn into that. I was just really excited about the song, and I wanted to put something out in the meantime. So I didn't really think I'd dive back into a full length project this soon, but you also never know when inspiration is going to hit, and I feel like I've just been trying to ride it like it's a wave right now.
Yeah, of course. Well, you said Beach Boys, so you catch
true.
that wave, right? So my last question, because I wanted to talk about singles and albums and stuff. You said making a full length still appeals to you. What is it about making an album that appeals to you? Because now that seems like kind of the anachronistic move. So what about that still makes sense to you?
I just love tying themes together and having a whole group of songs that fit together. I think I did that really well on my last record.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And I remember specifically before I wrote a lot of the songs on Girasol, I kind of sat around and thought of what kind of a record I wanted to make. Mm-hmm. So I spent more time thinking about what I wanted to do before I actually got into doing it. This time around, I'm almost working backwards, where my friend Pete Andrews that I recorded with, we're kind of building instrumental tracks, and I'm kind of adding the lyrics on last and kind of getting the lyrical ideas all tied together as well. But I like to tie themes together, and I think what I want to do differently this time around is create a record that's a lot more positive than some of the ones that I've had, because as you know, I've been through some rough stuff in the last 10 years.
A couple breakup albums, a lot of some interesting,
even deeper, like almost dying, all that stuff.
The whole coma thing. Well, that'll affect you.
Gotta watch last year's episode to get that bonus content.
It ties in.
Yeah. Not that breakups aren't bad, but like the whole diabetic coma thing kind of trumps all that for me.
I would say so. Yeah.
But yeah, I want to make something that's I really want to make, for the first time in my career, a really pretty sounding record, and a lot of the feedback I've gotten on the single has been what a beautiful track it is, and that really makes me feel good, because I feel like mission accomplished there.
Yeah, and we're going to hear it shortly, right?
We are, yeah. It's
Excellent.
on our set list, I believe. Right, Pete? Pete's got it. All right.
All right. Matt Cook, thank you so much for
Brian.
being here. It's been great. Welcome
Thanks,
back.
OneMore is sponsored by You Don't Know Jersey, owned and operated by Allison Ed Maziak. Hey, Allison Ed. You Don't Know Jersey has been covering all the best in Garden State sports, music, art, film, and culture for nearly a decade. Hey, Pete, have you ever wanted to read about that time Ed ran into the Beastie Boys at a White Castle back in the 80s and wouldn't give Ad Rock the last packet of honey mustard? Did they even have honey mustard in the 80s? Find out in You Don't Know Jersey. That was a poor one at best.
Come on, man.
Is that true, though? Did Ed run into the Beastie Boys at a White Castle?
He did. Dude, I do this on breaks at work.
I have questions about this whole situation. Where was the White Castle?
It was in New Jersey. Come on, you don't know Jersey. It was in New Jersey.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe he was in Wisconsin and on following them on the License to Ill tour. You gotta fight for your right to have honey mustard. That was a good line. Anyway, so whether you're at High Point or Cape May or anywhere in between, visit youdon'tknowjersey.com. You don't know Jersey because really, you just don't, Brian.
Her latest single, Poison, is available through Telegraph Hill Records. Let us welcome Leah Voysey. Hey, Leah.
Hello, thank
Thank you
you.
for coming. You came all the way down from New York.
I did, yeah.
Thanks for making the trip.
Oh, of course, anytime.
Well, that's good to know. Good to know.
Weekly now. You're taking over for Jesse and me.
Awesome.
I said and me. We're both getting kicked off. We're
Oh,
just
okay.
together.
Okay, cool.
I'm into it. I'll come back.
Okay, well, that's good. Matt, keep her on the list. Okay, he wrote it down on his hand. So it can't be as simple as you're in London and you decide to just pick up a guitar, can it?
Well, it actually happened a little bit before London. So when I was in college at Ramapo, I was going to a bunch of open mics with some of my friends, and they were all musicians and writing their own music. So that inspired me to buy the guitar, but then the guitar came with me to London, and that's where the songwriting started. Yeah, but
we need to have Palm fix that bio. Then we need to have.
Oh, I wrote that bio.
Okay, well.
It's like backstory. People can watch this to get the backstory.
There's so much that I blame on Palm, whether or not he's guilty of it.
Oh, me too.
Don't we all? Let's all just blame Palm.
Hashtag blame Palm.
That should be the name of the Telegraph Hill Records. Just
Blame Palm.
Blame Palm Records. That's it.
Takes a lot of the heat.
No, he's not. Oh, there he is. I didn't see him. He's in the corner now.
Tom's texting me. He's watching this right now.
Of course.
Hey, Pom. How are you?
I got some words for you, dude.
So it was those open mic experiences that kind of spurred you into playing an instrument?
Yeah, because I'd always been a singer. You know, I was in theater doing musical theater, and watching other people perform their own songs that they wrote, it was this jealousy thing almost of, you know, what they're doing this, why can't I do this? I have stories, I have things to say, so that I just bought a guitar and I taught myself. And
really,
yeah. And when I was in London, it was, you know, an everyday thing. You know, I was 2 or 3 times, you know, getting texts from my roommate Diana like, hey, it's 2 a.m. Can you stop playing guitar because I'm trying to sleep, you know, because it was just, I just ran with it as soon as I started. I couldn't stop.
And what was it like, you know, what was the house like growing up? Like your parents, they met at a concert, right?
Yeah.
So that must have been kind of a good omen.
They did. Not only just a concert, they met at a Meatloaf concert at the Stone Pony in Asbury Park.
In the 80s.
In the 80s,
So this is kind of in between
The two good albums.
So this was Meatloaf was like he was working back then. He was like a working, but that's awesome. So right down the road from us.
Exactly, you know, so that's the good omen. It's almost fate that in the end I am on an Asbury Park label, playing in Asbury Park, meeting Asbury Park people, you know, so I was born here.
I'm sorry. Guys, the Stone Pony is over there.
That's what I did.
It's like everybody's kind of like, and I'm sorry, while you're I wanted
really directionally impaired.
Sorry, while you were I wanted to at least
I was trying to give him some clarity subtly.
Scolding your children right now. The Stone Pony's over there, kids. Go to your room. Sorry, that was for us and us alone.
Well, no, because you're trying to tell this story about like how your parents met.
How that came to be.
And Chris is like,
These guys are pointing.
I was trying to be subtle so that he can move on.
What is a Stone Pony? Where is it?
Yeah, Cake and Ben Folds, right?
So Meatloaf, right?
Meatloaf,
Like a bat out of hell.
So you've been singing for quite some time.
Pretty much my whole life, yeah.
Was that something your parents kind of fostered in you? Was that just around when you were growing up?
No, actually. I mean, you know, my parents met at a concert, but I wouldn't call them musical people at all.
Okay.
I come from a very active sports family, so, you know, lots of soccer, basketball, all of that stuff. So I think, you know, me wanting to play guitar and do music and theater and stuff was not really part of the game plan, but, you know, I feel like I'm always doing stuff off the beaten path, so I kind of went away from what my parents expected from me, but they're happy with it, you know. Made me more outgoing. I was a really shy kid, and then I started doing theater, and all of a sudden I had a personality.
That helps. that helps people sort of.
I mean, we have too much personality because you became an actor.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
so dramatic.
I'm the only non-actor at the table.
At the table, yeah.
Did you go to Rampo for theater?
I did go to Rampo for theater.
Did you work with Susan Kerner ever?
No, I don't think so.
She came in. She was a guest director there. She worked at Montclair State.
Oh, that's cool.
We're not here to talk about Susan Kerner.
I don't even know what that is. Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
But yeah, I have a degree in theater, acting. So.
Oh wow, you and Chris too. Wait,
and Jesse
I didn't know that.
Montclair State.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I went to that's why I'm a musician because I made way
We'll
too much money as an actor.
Yeah, me too. I don't know the struggle.
Yes, you retire early.
Yeah, exactly.
You start your second act.
I retired at 21, made like a ton of money doing
I did that sitcom Seinfeld, made billions, and now
I've never heard of
I'm a bass
that one.
player.
What's it
You
about?
gotta check. It's not really about anything, but that's a different story.
Okay, cool.
I wrote a musical, had like 14 people in the room a night. It was amazing.
Wow.
Chicago. Right?
Yeah, Chicago.
Yeah, and all that jazz. So how did you meet Joe Pomerico? We're here, kind of like sort of poking at him a bit. So let's
talk about that
How did you
story.
meet Joe Pomerico, former guest of the show?
We went to college together, talking about college. We probably met the first or second day, probably talked a handful of 5 times in our 4 years at college. I knew who he was. We weren't really friends. It wasn't until a few years after college, I hit him up on Facebook because I had bought tickets to a music festival and I didn't have anyone to go with, and I saw he was going. So I thought, as someone I kind of know, he seems like safe enough, and if anything, it's just a ride there, and maybe he'll be cool when I get there. Yeah. It turns out he was really cool. We had a great weekend. That's where I met, kind of met Matt Fernicola there too.
I don't know who that is.
Matt Fernicola, you don't know him?
Never met him.
Who's
No,
that?
he plays in the Burns. Do you know?
Sounds like he has a grating personality.
Yeah, I don't know. He's okay. He's like, just kidding. All fun.
We got the mic this time, Fernie boy.
He's off camera. He's here. So the music festival went well. It was a great weekend.
Who did you go see? Well, it was like a festival.
Yeah.
Who's headlining?
Muse was headlining, 21 Pilots in the weekend.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it was like a pretty stacked weekend.
Wasn't it was like Coachella, right?
No, it was Firefly.
Excuse
not
me.
Coachella.
Look, I
It
don't
was
know.
Fire
I'm not
Fest,
cool enough
Chris.
for
It was Firefest. They all met at
Yeah, it was Firefest.
Yes,
We went to
Firefest.
Firefest. We got stranded on an island. It really brought us
There were
closer
sharks.
together.
It was great.
Yeah.
Chris went into
Cheese
the
on
room
bread
fully
is amazing.
prepared.
Fuck you, man.
We did it.
Now we're never gone on APTV.
Now I broke Chris.
Sorry. Anyway. So you met at a
I'm
music
so sorry.
festival.
So you
You
Yes.
felt he was safe enough.
We met at college. I went with him to this music festival and a bunch of other people. And then from there, we became close friends. A few months after, I just performed a couple songs at a little, music gathering he was holding, and that was when he started kind of pushing me, come hang out in the studio, come meet all these people, come record something, and the ball just started rolling from there.
Yeah, and you met Matt Menges.
Yeah.
Just kind of hanging around the studio.
Yeah, it was one day. Neither of us were working. I forget who was actually recording that. It was Fern. Yeah, Fern was recording that day.
Oh, all right.
So we weren't really doing anything. We kind of went off into one of the other rooms. He showed me some of the stuff he was working on, and I dug it. So I said, hey, if I shoot you a couple acoustic demos, maybe you can try something with it.
Yeah.
And that was how Poison happened, and it kind of just
and he
put
came
the,
back to
you know,
you with
the lights on for me.
the finished track. Right?
Yeah, and pretty much when he sent it to me, it was all we needed was vocals on it. Other than that, it was pretty much, ready.
What's that like to hear that for the first? Because at that point, I assume you would never, if the story seems to sort of track the right way, like you had never really done recording at that level before.
Not really. I mean, I had recorded a few songs here and there, but we never really finished anything, just with some friends from high school, because I never felt like it was the right song or the right sound that I was going for.
Yeah.
So when he came back with this track, it was the first time where I thought, maybe this isn't fun and games. Maybe this is actually a career that I could pursue. Maybe this is something that I could do, because I finally heard what I was waiting for, and worked on it.
And what was that like?
It was
hear
awesome.
That? Like for the first time for him to be like, yeah, I worked on this for you, check it out. And then, throw your earbuds in and just hearing that for the first time, that must have been...
Well, actually, when he sent it to me, just because, obviously I know how the song goes, so when I put the track on, I just started singing to it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this sounds awesome. But then when the chorus came in, I started I stopped singing and I started just hysterically laughing because I just loved it so much. It gave me such a weird reaction. I was like, oh, this is good.
Well, yeah, it's like almost that to me. That's almost like a primal sort of reaction. That you don't know what else to do, so you're just having this sort of pure emotional, cathartic moment where it's like I'm helpless. And I'm just thinking about my own first times recording, for real. And you have no idea what to do with the fact that what you're doing sounds really good.
Exactly, yeah. And that even amplified when we finally got in the studio and put the vocals on it.
Oh, I'm sure.
I think when Palm was mixing it, I think I was laughing through that too. I think I was just sitting in the chair laughing because I was so happy.
So how do you get over the producer wanting to change some things about the song?
I definitely fought that a little bit initially, when we were in the studio and he was saying, oh, change this lyric here, change this vocal melody there, and I definitely gave a little bit of a pushback initially, but I think having an outside perspective is really helpful. Admitting to myself that I don't know everything and I don't always have the best idea, that someone can make it sound better, and I think that is the positive part of having a producer on the other side of the glass, listening to it and giving you that feedback, because they're going to hear stuff that you'd never hear, and I think everything he changed made it so much better. Yeah,
because that's buying into the idea that someone else's input is all for the benefit of the
Right.
nobody's going to be like, haha, I'm going to
Let's
take
change
this and
this.
change it around and make it worse, because that's also, their Palm and Mayo, as he is called, Matt, like they're doing it, for obviously for you, but also for themselves in a way also. So they don't want to make it sound bad. They're just trying to work to make it sound, they're working in service of the material.
Yeah, exactly. And he's got such a great ear too. We've worked on a couple tracks now too, and I'm almost a little lazy where if I can't really think of the perfect thing, I say, oh, he'll fix it. He'll figure it out. He'll get it for me. I'll just be like, hey, I'm not really feeling this part. What can you do with it?
No,
and that works too.
Yeah, but then it almost kind of circles back around where you question a few things, and now it sounds like you've sort of put a lot of trust into the process that you're working under. So now it's more like, okay, yeah, I'm not sure about this, so I'm going to trust my collaborators to say, you know what, I get this part, but it's only half written, so let's finish this together.
Yeah, and I mean, you need that trust if you're going to be working with people in music and whatever, and especially, you're telling...
creative endeavor like this.
Yeah, and when you're telling really personal stories, you need to have people on that creative side with you who you can level with and who you can trust with those stories.
So how does it feel to come out of the gate with this being, kind of really your first song? There's no band. I've checked. Like, there's no Bandcamp, no Stray, SoundCloud tracks.
Nothing.
There's this song and that's it.
Yeah.
And kind of coming out of the gate sounding pretty fully formed. How does that feel?
It feels awesome, and especially that Telegraph Hill Records, Palm and Fern trusted me enough to include me on the compilation that came out at the end of the year. That made me feel awesome. That I almost felt behind a little behind the other artists that they were working with, because they're all established. So the fact that they trusted me enough to put me on the compilation and kind of put me at that level made me feel like I made the right decision trying to pursue this, because they trusted me, and I feel like we put out a good product and people like it, and
Oh yeah.
And now I'm with all these other artists, their names are associated with mine, and that's cool too.
You don't want the Burns associated.
No, not the Burns. Like, they were not kidding. I actually love the Burns.
It's like, I make sure the Burns, I walk here, the Burns always say 5 steps behind it.
I was actually watching a
times.
Burns video today.
Which one?
I think Joey posted today, the Wolves thing from... That came up on my newsfeed, so I watched that today.
I was doing.
I'm sorry, Dwayne was in that, not Lemon. Your evil twin brother. Oh, you need to do that for promo now. Do like evil twin. We'll talk.
One of them needs a curly mustache.
Yeah, obviously one of them's going to have a curly mustache.
I'm just saying, no one said it, but I just wanted to make sure.
One of them needs the beard, and then he's got to shave, and that's like Dwayne is...
Have you guys seen their music video for...
Obsessive Love?
Yeah, that's pretty
It's
much
pretty
what
similar,
you guys are talking about.
So. But I think my idea is better because I came up with it.
Well, that's your opinion, I guess.
So, in terms of having this fully produced song, kind of becoming part of this community, almost kind of hitting a home run with song number 1. How do you prevent that from holding you back creatively?
I don't think it would hold me back creatively. I think it almost inspires me to top it almost. And I guess I'm at the point now where I'm like ready for the next thing, because I've heard the song so many times.
Yeah.
So definitely not. Like I'm
So
living
you're
in
the
it.
one who's played it all 3,000 times.
No, I actually don't play it that often, but I do have friends that say that they've played it on repeat. They just like put it on over and over again. I was like, if you want to do that,
that's a move.
More power to you. I don't know if I would do that, but yeah, I think that it just inspires me to be like, okay, this was awesome. Let me top it and let me see like the next great thing that we can do. But I mean, we're still living in this song because we do have a music video coming out soon. So that's going to be the next thing. Before like a next song, we're going to have a music video.
So I guess since we kind of touched on it a little bit with Matt Cook, I want to ask you too about like singles and albums and stuff. At this point in your musical career and your journey, do you feel like you're going to get the most traction putting your focus into single tracks at a time?
Yeah, I think at this point, singles, that's kind of the way to go for me specifically, and in my genre. I think with pop music, singles are the way to go. Friends of mine, they're always like, when's the next song coming out? When is the album coming out? And I think an album would be a really nice thing for my friends and for my family, for them. And as much as I love that support, I'm really thinking more the people who aren't my fans yet, the people who haven't heard me yet. And I think that singles are a little bit more digestible for a new audience. So I think, I'm playing the single game for a little while, just to kind of build the audience, start off that way.
Yeah, and I mean, it's clearly, we've said before, the song has 3,000. You said it just hit 3,000 today?
We hit 3,000 today.
That's great. Congratulations.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. There's a lot of people here.
And that's also too. That is, it may not just be your friends hitting on repeat, because you've got about 1,000 listeners. Through Spotify. So it's.
I have 1,000 friends. I don't. I have like two friends.
And because we do have to wrap up. I want to touch on this a little bit too before we get out of here. Is we talked about acting before. How much of it is you, and how much of it is a role when you play music?
That's actually a great question, because I've thought about this a lot, and I think it is the reason why I was so into the idea of being a musician, because with acting, I'm playing a role, and it's almost too tiring for me at this point. I'm kind of overplaying the roles, and I just want to be myself. So when I'm doing music, I think that acting helps in the sense it helps me put on a performance in the sense of knowing how to move and knowing how to engage the audience. But as far as who is on stage, it's fully me. It's definitely not a character at all. And I toyed with that idea. I toyed with the idea of changing my style or wearing more makeup or doing some sort of caricature of myself. And I just thought, screw that. I'm just gonna be me.
Well, that's good. That's good. And before we get out of here, I know you've got a show at Caffeine Underground coming up. Why don't you tell our audience where and when?
So Brooklyn, New York, which is where I reside. Hello, camera. I've got a show in Brooklyn at the Caffeine Underground. It's an acoustic show from 7 to 10, February 23rd, Caffeine Underground. I think I said it all. Is that it? Yeah. In Brooklyn. So if you're around that area, come check it out. CBD coffee, if that's enticing.
Get real relaxed.
Yeah, get relaxed and listen to some music.
It feels almost contradictory in terms, CBD and coffee, but what do I know?
It's all right, man.
It's actually great.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
We're going to find out.
Relaxed and energized.
Because I think we're going to be at Telegraph the day of, so I think we're all going. Right, Fern? Is that fun?
Yeah, we're going.
All right, I think I'm going.
Amazing. I like that.
Well, Leah Voysey, thank you so much. And we're going to hear Poison, and we're going to hear a brand new song in just a little bit.
Cool.
So thank you so much.
Guys.
It's been our pleasure.
Thank you.
Jesse, grab that and go there.
Grab this and go there?
No, that one.
Grab that one.
Strike this.
All right, cool.
Whoa.
Stuck on my Velcro.
Jesse, this is for you.
Thank you so much.
Is that for you?
It's for me.
It's mine now.
How dare you? One More with Brian Erickson is sponsored by the Asbury Park Music Foundation. APMF raises money to support youth music programs throughout Asbury Park that provide lasting skills, self-confidence, and life-changing experiences for the underserved kids in our community. This includes funding for the Hip Hop Institute at the Boys and Girls Club of Monmouth, in-school music programs at Hope Academy, and scholarships for kids to attend Lake House Music Academy. The APMF also hosts concert series throughout the year, whether it's Music Mondays at Springwood Park or Asbury Park Live over the summer, Suburbia Friday nights, or the Sunday Songwriter Series. APMF always has something going on. Check out their calendar for more details. And if you're interested in making a meaningful difference in the community or keeping Asbury Park's legacy of music alive, head to asburyparkmusiclives.org to make a donation. And while you're there, pick up a Music Saved Asbury Park t-shirt. Connor Bracken has like 6 of them. And all proceeds go to make it possible to support Music Saved My Life youth music programs. One More is also brought to you by a new sponsor, Borden Guitar Rescue. Bordentown Guitar Rescue. I can read, I swear. We're brought to you by Bordentown Guitar Rescue. Founded by certified luthier. luthier Mike Vierok, BGR has been building, modifying, customizing, and repairing stringed instruments since 2012. So why wait a month for a basic setup from one of the big retailers when Bordentown Guitar Rescue has the quickest turnaround time in the state? So if you're... I hate you so much.
I mean, these are all musical guitar terms.
Yep.
These are all...
Just give me a second.
I'm so... Do you want to...
No, I'll do it. Brian, I'm going to do this.
All right, do it. You got this, Jesse. You got this.
Thank you. So, Chris, you can't look over my shoulder.
Thank God, I'm so excited for this. Please get there. Come on. Just read it. It's very serious. These are ads. You know how much V-Rock is paying us?
So, if your neck is bent, your nut needs filling, you popped your G-string, you popped your G-string, or you've got dust clogging up your sound hole. I know Chris has those issues. Call certified luthier Mike Vierok for an estimate. Mention this ad and you don't get a discount, but still mention this ad anyway. Bordentown Guitar Rescue. Ah, crap, I broke my guitar again. Thank you. And, yeah, go ahead.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, Leah Voysey.
Woo!
I got it right, Voysey?
Let me know you kept me waiting hours by the phone. I came to love that lonely feeling. I won't let it stop beating. Could you count me out? Could you count me out? 'Cause I'm so tempted to touch. Could you count me out? Could you count me out? I'm so tempted to touch. There you are, hit me like a storm, came out of the dark. You found a break in the armor, but I won't open the door. Never be enough. You could wait outside my frozen mind until we run out of time. Could you count me out? Could you count me out? 'Cause I'm so tempted to touch. Could you count me out? Could you count me out? I'm so tempted. Could you count me out? Could you count me out? 'Cause I'm so tempted to touch. Could you count me out? Could you count me out? I'm so tempted to touch. Thank you. That song's called Tempted to Touch. It is the new song I'm working on with Miyayo. Yeah. Always the same thing, coming for one drink, heard it before. It's after midnight, there's almost sunlight creeping through the door. I try to think straight, but we're back at your place. Going home alone is too much for us to take. I am better off without you, but I'm giving in. Poison. I can't live without a fix, addicted blood on your hands. I'll take the pain. Give me a ball and chain, make me your mistake, take me away. A trigger on your lips, a bullet like a kiss. You want me when your touch pulls me in. I forget what I'm doing. I've known it for too long. We did another song. It's the same old story. I am. Better off without you, but I'm giving in. Poison, poison. I can't live without a fix. Addicted, blood on your hands. I'll take the pain another day. I am. Poison, poison. I am. Better off without you, but I'm giving in. Poison, poison. I can't live without a fix. Addicted, blood on your hands. Oh, the blood on your hands. Your hands. I am. Poison, poison. Thank you. Matt Bernicola. Thank you.
You want to stand here while I do this ad?
Yeah, sure.
Cool, because Jesse's also going to stand here. Event for the week of February 4th, Tuesday, February 5th. Bobby Mahoney, Levy Oken, and Mr. Big Face himself, Christy Brown, goddammit, Brian, at the Downtown in Red Bank at 7 p.m. And the Chubby Pickle, we're doing a thing for Kathy Quintana. Jesse, please explain.
Thank you, Chris. I'll explain now. So, friend of the show and shut up. Friend of the show and local musician Kathy Quintana sadly lost her home to an electrical fire on February 1st, but we are coming together as a community. Me and my friends are taking over the Vlasic Classic open mic at the Chubby Pickle in Highlands, New Jersey. That's tomorrow night. We're starting at 8 o'clock. We're going to be collecting clothes and basic toiletries, as well as auctioning off some great prizes such as Grand for Sculpture passes, free blowouts from Lock and Shade Salon right next door, and we've got a lot more prizes than that. And for more info, visit the official OneMore Facebook page, and there you can find the event page for tomorrow's benefit, as well as Kathy's GoFundMe page set up by the beautiful Pamela Flores. Kathy, we love you, and we're here to support you. Chris, back to you.
That's tomorrow night. All right, Wednesday, February 6th, writer of such hits as Yo, I'll Tell You What I Want, What I Really, Really Want by the Backstreet Boys, Dave Vargo, is hosting a singer-songwriter showcase at the Lizzie Music Room in Tuckerton, featuring Dan Toy, Bob Casper, Joe Weimer, and The Well-Wish at 7 p.m. Connor Bracken and Kathy Quintana herself are at the Asbury Hotel at 8 p.m. Natalie Farrell and Robbie Lasella at the Downtown. I found that out like 2 minutes ago. Thursday, February 5th, Hoot and Holler at the Chubby Pickle. Red Pants presents a late week acoustic throwdown featuring Corey and Kara, Michael Askin, the Clydes, and Brian Molnar of John and Peters and New Hope at 7 p.m. The Cyclone Static record release and dance party at FM Lounge at 8 p.m. The Owl Pub presents beautiful music by beautiful people featuring Old Currents, Chris Skell, Chris Fox, Jefferson, Mike Vidal, and Papa Reese at 9 p.m. Friday, February 8th, happy birthday to Lisa Lovell of the Extension to Dave Mooney and viewers like you. I've been in bed with her for 2 years. I don't know if it's Lovell or Lavelle. That's not the point. Is it Lavelle? Cool. Algebra 2 are opening for Screaming Females at the AP Brewery. I hope they don't use the back line. 7 p.m. Bianca Muniz, Sarah Neal, and Apollo freaking Saunders at Coney Island Baby at 7:30 p.m. Death by Fiction, Grey Goose Black, Stag, Quinton Smith, and the Company at the Asbury Hotel at 8 p.m. Ben Coolin, Talani, The Hungers, and the Hell Yeah Babies at Pianos at 8 p.m. Hell yes, baby. Dentist, 10th Avenue Burrito, 9 p.m. Fast Claire, Gringo Motel, that feels wrong. DJ Devilbat at the Chubby Pickle at 9 p.m. Saturday, February 9th, Penty Holmes, Honeysuckle, Jackson Pines at the State Theater Center for the Arts at 7:30 p.m. The Crescent Dean Band, Godlings, Daily Rituals, and Alex Gagliastro at the Silent G, ladies and gentlemen, at the APYC at 8 p.m. Sharky's Machine, Crypt Kicker 5, Graveyard School, and Devil's Whip at the Brighton Bar at 8 p.m. Justin and Lisa Pope headline the 5th annual Lovebirds concert at the Birdhouse Center for the Arts in Lambertville. Is that real? That sounds cool. 3rd annual Galentine's Day featuring Ella Ross, The Boss, Natalie Farrell, Pam Flores, and Joe Marie at the Asbury Hotel at 9 p.m. Sunday, February 10th, happy birthday to Brian's mom, Joyce. We love you, Joyce. Bring her in on Monday. Maddie Carlock, no thank you. An in-store performance at Jack's Music Shop at 3 p.m. And close out your weekend at Scarlet Pub with the Afraid Brigade, Karma Gamut, and Whispers at 8 p.m. And now, ladies and gentlemen, featuring Brian Hansen and Pete Stern, please give it up for Matt Cook!
Play one more song for you guys.
One more. That's been happening
This is one of the singles off of my latest record, Girasol. It's called Ghosting.
Go ahead.
I tried with you. Now I am myself relying on you. If you were me, you would let me down honestly. I want you. It pains my soul. I thought I knew you better than you. Like a ghost you haunt and fade out of my life. I don't wanna be that lost.
All right.
Thank you.
Brian Hansen, how are you, sir? Pete Stern, how are you? Matt Cook, excellent, great job as always. Leah, thank you so much.
Are we sitting?
Yeah, are we gonna sit? We're doing this? Oh yeah, had a few laughs, you know, shared some stories. This was great. Chris, you wanna? Oh wow.
I'm doing the Mr. Rogers.
Oh, oh my God. Oh God, put those on, please. Put them back, please. All right. If we finish, can you put them back on, please?
No promises.
Oh my, whoa. All right, so thank you, Asbury Park Music Foundation, as always, for Leah Voysey and Matt Cook, Chris Dubrow, Jesse McCormick, and Mogo Korean Tacos. I have been, and I remain Brian Erickson. We'll see you next week.